Okay, guys, so how are we doing today? So here we go, double story commentary time. And this is the first time in a while I've had to cover a natural disaster story. In a great while. It's been several months, almost a year. And this one's kind of nasty. I was even looking at some images on DuckDuckGo just to be certain I understood how severe this is going to be. And boy, let me tell you, these photos of just pure and utter devastation. Yeah, this shit got leveled. This was a 6.7 earthquake in Japan, which has also triggered a small tsunami and caused cuts in their electrical power. And according to the article from Reuters, a strong and shallow earthquake struck Japan's northwest coast around Niigata, the Niigata prefecture on Tuesday, triggering a small tsunami, shaking buildings and cutting power to around 9,000 buildings. The magnitude 6.4 quake, according to the United States Geological Survey, USGS, lasted for as long as 20 seconds, and damage included a landslide that struck a road. According to public broadcaster NHK, there were no initial reports of fatalities or fires. Authorities lifted a 0.2 by 1.0 meter tsunami warning for the region after waves several centimeters high struck parts of the Niigata coast. It's kind of like that scene with the tsunami in Karate Kid 2. Kind of conjures an image of that in my mind. I actually really like that movie. A tsunami of up to 1 meter could have caused some flooding and damage in low-lying coastal areas and riverbanks, though much of Japan's coastline is guarded by seawalls, as is wise in a coastal nation like Japan. We will work closely with local authorities to provide any disaster measures, including life-saving and rescue operations, that have instructed officials to provide information in a timely and accurate manner. Chief Cabinet Secretary Yoshida Suga, the top government spokesman, told a media briefing. The quake struck at 10:22 p.m. local time. That was literally sometime earlier today, I think. And it was at a depth of 12 kilometers, according to USGS. 7.5 miles, for those of you who don't understand metric. Mind you, I'm trying to learn metric, but it's not easy. But learning it is important. I think it'll be of benefit to everyone to try and learn metric at some point. Can't guarantee success for all of you, though. But anyway, it measured at 6.7, according to the Japan Meteorological Agency, and in some places was as high as a strong 6 on the agency's 7-point Shindo, or seismic intensity scale, which measures ground motion at specific points, unlike magnitude, which expresses the amount of energy released. And truth be known, ground motion versus energy released, if you understand physics and science, is not necessarily absolutely equatable. Something can move a lot without necessarily releasing that much energy. But Tokyo Electric Power Company's TEPCO Kashiwazaki Kariwa nuclear plant was not affected by the quake, which hit 85 kilometers or 53 miles northeast of the site. All of its 7 reactors were already shut down. A TEPCO spokesman said an initial inspection showed no damage to the plant, and inspectors would carry out more detailed checks. The quake also temporarily halted express bullet train services in the region, with some roads also closed, according to NHK. The article even has some images of some residents who were temporarily relocated. Pretty severe earthquake. It's been a while since I've done a natural disaster story. Like I said, I looked up the effects of several other similar earthquakes on DuckDuckGo. Woohoo! 6.7 may not sound like much, a little bit past the midway, about halfway up, but trust me, those images I was looking at, that shit was crazy. And those are just still images. I wonder what it'd be like to go on YouTube or BitChute or Dailymotion and look up an actual video of like an actual earthquake in progress, and what it would be to watch that and see it in action. Man, reality is crazy sometimes. Absolutely crazy sometimes. The second story in this video that I will be commenting on, oh, right, before we get to that, my nutty brain, I keep forgetting things. I'm really glad that their reactor plant, the Kashiwazaki reactor, didn't blow up. We do not need another Fukushima, alright? We do not need another Fukushima. And this crazy-ass earthquake with this tsunami coming up, that could do a lot of damage, and thankfully it hit an area that was mostly residential. Not thankful that people died, of course. Thankful that a greater disaster wasn't caused when a reactor could go up. Thankfully. But these people are temporarily relocated as they rebuild neighborhoods and towns and so forth. Yeah, the Earth is literally trying to kill us every day. You should watch Neil deGrasse Tyson's video series on stupid design. It's really eye-opening. Anyway, U.S. military releases new images from oil tanker attacks. The U.S. military on Monday released new images. It showed Iran's Revolutionary Guard, or IRGC, removing an unexploded limpet mine from a Japanese-owned tanker that was attacked on June 13th in the Gulf of Oman, as Washington blames Tehran for the attack. Of course they do. Iran is responsible for the attack based on video evidence, and the resources and proficiency needed to quickly remove the unexploded limpet mine. The U.S. Military Central Command said in a statement explaining the still images. Yeah. On the surface, the first image shown, yeah, it looks like basic generic military footage. Like, you really just kind of see burning ship. You really don't see a responsible party anywhere. And I didn't think of this earlier, but if you skip overhead to another image, you see some uniforms and some people of a nearby ship coming nearby. That looks like the IRGC uniform. But just because they're wearing a uniform doesn't mean they're actually from the IRGC. There's a couple problems I have with this as a potential evidence. One, anyone can wear a uniform. Two, the first image is vague and only shows exploding ship. Whereas the second image shows these people in IRGC uniforms approaching a ship from the side. And it's not really clear what exactly they're doing. That one has a time index at 1318, and this one has time index at 1407. So that is the better part of an hour. But nothing that shows anything that happened in between. Yeah. It's not really clear what exactly is going on here. It's uncertain. But according to the articles I just read, they were saying that they have the IRGC, or what appeared to be the IRGC, removing an unexploded limpet mine. Odd. If it hadn't exploded, then why are they removing it if they were supposedly responsible? They were removing it from a tanker that was attacked. So how does this show that Iran is responsible? It's still not clear enough evidence of an actual move by Iran. This is circumstantial. Maybe I'll link you to this article so you guys can look at the images yourself and come to your own conclusion, but I don't see this as being conclusive enough that this was an attack. I mean, why would they be removing an unexploded mine? You'd think they'd be rearming it if they were planning an attack. Or am I getting this all wrong? Or would they be removing an unexploded mine to cover their tracks and let one of the tankers go in order to look good? But that seems almost too cynical of Iran. I'd be more cynical of our government based on our history. We've been more aggressive and more violent and warmongering than they have, historically speaking. With the exception, of course, of Iran's clear distaste for the nation of Israel. But we've done more to harm the Middle East than Iran has. See, that's like a serial killer complaining about someone who got into it. How do I make this work? That's like a serial killer complaining about some guy who got into a fight one time with another person and the other guy got injured. He's a serial killer. What right does he have to complain about it? Bottom line is, I'm just hoping this whole thing Iran thing blows over without us going to war. Because really, I seriously doubt that Iran is any real threat. We still don't know for certain who or how these attacks were carried out, or the responsible party. Like, it looks like Iran, but, you know, appearances can be deceiving. This sort of evidence could easily be set up. You could acquire some uniforms, steal some uniforms, and even buy them somehow, military surplus. Then you could set it all up to look like that's what happened. This is not conclusive. What I'm literally looking for here is identify the people in this photo, figure out who they are, learn their associations. You know, grill the IRGC for solid, you know, provable evidence. Because this is not good enough. These images are not clear. They are too freaking vague. They're at a distance. You can't see anyone's face. You just see uniform. You just see a whole lot of boat. There's this little boat lining up next to the tanker, removing the unexploded mine. Which, for all you know, they may have just saw that there was a mine on the Japanese tanker and decided to remove it. As a service to the Japanese. Yeah, I know, that sounds crazy. The ships did blow up. But we don't actually know that Iran is directly responsible, is my point. I know, some of you guys are going to call me and it is like, oh, but they blew up anyway. Why would they be helping them? The mine was taken. Yeah, why would they be helping them? Because they said they were removing an unexploded mine. That doesn't sound to me like the action of someone deliberately trying to damage or sabotage a ship. Unless they were trying to cover their tracks. But again, that's a very Mike Pompeo / Michael Bolton sort of way of looking at it. Those guys are hella cynical. Warmongers! Anyway.